Okay, I'll try to keep my hands out of the way as much as possible on this. This is by request. One of the guys asked to see more about the smoker. I kind of have the advantage of, if you can see down in there, having a whole box of these things because, you know, they burn out pretty easy. You can tell the hang long. I think this one's a Taijin. If it's all clear, then it's definitely a Taijin smoker like this one. This was all clear. This came out of a Taijin tank. They've got a different type of system that goes here, and they got the stopper for refueling. But I like the hang long ones. They've got a nice piston in there. I found that it's usually a better fit for the piston in the opaque black plastic ones than in the clear ones. So that's what we're going to start with. It's not a real difficult mod. See, this is the one with the resistors on there. First we take it apart. Now I keep a battery pack around for if I have to spin the motor. This is the battery pack right here. This is just 6 volts, but it works pretty good. And the reason for that is that I want the piston to be towards the back of its stroke while I'm doing this. So a lot of times I'll just blip the motor a little bit to move it around, kind of jog it around. Okay, so we take it apart. Okay, pull this out. Now, when it comes out, it'll have this piece of Kevlar type stuff around here, and inside there will be some like cotton, just like a wadding. Okay, now on these, what I do is I clip them right here. Clip these 2 wires. Okay, clip them as close there as possible. Now I'm going to reuse these, so don't cut them off at the board. All right, now this whole board, drop the gasket. This whole board will pull right out, and you see it just took the rest of the wire with it. Okay, so now I've got the top with 2 holes in it. That's another thing I like better about the hang long as opposed to the Taijin is the way the gasket fits to the top of the box. Okay. Now because I have extra smoke units, I'll get an extra wadding out of another unit and put it down in the bottom of that. Okay. And then I'll take this. I'll disassemble it. I'll pull it apart from the element. Pull it right out of there. Get that braided material out of there. I'll dry it out a little bit with some paper towels so that I can work with it, and then I'll tease it all apart, and I end up with this, the strings. Okay, so I'll pull a few of those out. A fair amount of them. Yeah, that'll probably work for what we're doing. And I'll just kind of spin them around a little bit like that. Make that into a smaller rope than what that was. Set it off to the side for a second here. Then I'm going for this. Now I got these from DigiKey. Let me see if this is the right bag. Yes, it is. All right. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but these came from Mouser Electronics. Sorry about that. I know I just said DigiKey. I lied. And there's a Mouser part number. 594-AC01W1 is OR00J. Okay, a manufacturer part number. Anyway, it's a 1 watt, 10 ohm, 5% wire wound resistor. Look like this. This blue one in here is also wire wound, but it's different. It's different rating. I think that's a 5 ohm. Alright, so I'm going to take the resistor. Now I've got my top here. I don't have to make any modifications to the top really. I'm going to bend over the wires on the end of the resistor 90 degrees, as close to the resistor as I can. Just going to bend them right over. Okay, now I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and I'm going to come down about 1/4 of an inch and I'm going to bend that 90 degrees. Okay, then I'm going to come in just the width of my pliers like that. I'm going to bend it another 90 degrees. Actually, I'm going to do that one again because I don't like that bend. I had too much. Bend it down like that. I'm going to do that to both sides. Down about 1/4 of an inch. Bend that over 90 degrees. Yeah, that wasn't quite right. The wire on these things is pretty forgiving. You can get several attempts. There, that's just about right there. Same thing now, I want to get just a little bit and bend down 90 degrees. Okay, now I've got something that looks like this. Got that? Now I'm going to take my material that I pulled out of there before. And I'm going to wrap it right around the resistor. Wrap it around just like that. This one's actually a little thin. I'm just doing this as an example, but I should have a few more strands on there. If this was permanent, I would take this back apart and put a few more strands in there. Now I'm going to take another couple of strands out of here, and I'm going to tie it right around there. I hope I'm keeping my hands out of the way at least a little bit. Some of this stuff, it takes a little dexterity. Some of you guys will be better at it than others. Most of you will be better at it than I am. And you get that tied off like that. Trying to keep my hands out of the way. Wrap around a couple times and tie it again. It's a lot easier to do when I don't have to worry about not getting my hands in the way. Anyway, tie it a second time on there, get a good knot on there, okay? And then bring that down into the, like that, alright? You'll end up with something like that. This one's a little bit thin. Like I said, I would take this back out and add a few more strands. You can experiment, and and the reason I bent it like this is because now the two wires from the resistor will fit right through the top like that, okay? So you can see how that is. Alright, now I'm going to bend this over towards the center. Okay, and then I'll bend it down across the top, both of them, just like that. Now you might be able to see, once I get everything tweaked in like I want it. You end up with the resistor kind of towards the center, right? And you've got the two wires sticking out the top. Now I'll use gap filling super glue right here and right here, and that'll hold that all in place, and it'll keep that resistor right there underneath that top, right where I want it. I'll have the extra wadding down in there. I'm using JT Megasteam diesel power. I'll wet the wadding. I'll put this down in here. I use where'd you go, baby? We've talked about this before. I use these syringes that are made for measuring dosage for children's oral medication, and I just put the tube from the smoke bottle right on there. I put usually about a milliliter, and I'll soak the Kevlar stuff all over the resistor and down into the box. And when I first do it, I'll put in about 2 milliliters, and then after that I add only 1 milliliter at a time when it starts to run like it, looks like it's running low on smoke. So I'll put the gasket back on, and I'll put that back together. So that's what goes inside the smoke box. Okay, now I'll drill a hole right here. Where's my I'll take my pin vise. I'm not sure what size this is. I'll go up to 1/8. I'll drill a hole right there. That's the reason why I've got the piston pulled back to the back, so that I don't accidentally tear up the rubber. When I drill this hole, I just do it by hand. While I had the top off and everything out, I took my 1/8 drill bit and I enlarged this hole right here, made it bigger. Okay, I haven't done it on this one, but you get the point. So then I put everything back together. I got the 2 holes. Not sure if I've got another mini fan. I probably got one around here somewhere, but I'd have to hunt it down. But you saw the mini fan. I just attach it right over that hole with the Zap Goo. I usually put a little dab back at this corner of the fan, and then right across here, it's got a little place right here where the fan will butt right up against. It fits right up against there just right, and the Zap Goo will make a nice seal across the top there, and it won't. You got to be careful not to let any of your adhesive get into that hole. And so the fan goes on there. I attach the wires from the fan right here. These 2 wires that we clipped off, these go back and get soldered to the resistor wires, and that's pretty much it. And then you got pretty much what you saw in the video that I did for the Hetzer. Hope that helps. See you next time.